Uh, Welcome all to the Astro community call. So we're switching up the format a little bit. I'm going to be doing more of like a streaming thing. So hopefully we can chat about all the exciting stuff and it'll be a little more digestible format. So appreciate you being here or watching on YouTube later. I'm going to kick things off with our updates for the week. So today is the 10th of January, start to 2023. We've got a ton of exciting Astro stuff going on, so I'm really excited to jump in and talk about it. First up, we've got some super exciting breaking news. The Astro V2 beta is out. So we are well on our way, moving from V1, which was a successful stable release, moving into the future with some really exciting updates, and hopefully not too many breaking changes. So let's chat a bit more about V2 and what we're doing at Astro. So last week we released our first beta version, and we're quickly moving towards a 2.0 stable release near the end of the month. So the first beta release has some great features. If you want to upgrade, just do npm upgrade Astro, or you can upgrade all your dependencies at once, which might be helpful because we have our integrations need to be updated as well. So here's what's going on with that release. There are a couple smaller breaking changes. We are deprecating we have already deprecated a bunch of older APIs that were around in the V0 version. A lot of those have been removed in the V2 release, so you probably aren't using those. We've been warning about them for a while, but just in case, they have been removed now. We have some little homages to these features along the way. So Astro.Resolve was proposed by Matthew. It was a way to basically construct a path to a relative asset. But when we moved to Vite, things didn't quite work the same. And now we have, full ESM support, and you can import your assets that way. So this was an older API that was pretty confusing. So it is finally gone now. And we also have the FetchContent API, which might be similar to content collections, but this was a very early take at that idea. So that has been removed as well, and replaced by Astro Glob for now, and content collections moving forward. So yeah, this goes all the way back to version 0.24, which was a long time ago. The Astro.CanonicalURL was kind of an attempt at being as helpful as we could, but it turns out your canonical URL a lot better than Astro does. So this has also finally been removed after being deprecated for quite a while. You can just construct the canonical URL yourself with all the information you have. So we also have Astro.URL, which should give you all the information you need. There are some very exciting updates to our Markdown handling. We have removed this confusing extend default plugin setting. So we have a couple default plugins, GitHub flavored Markdown and Smarty Pants, which are things that most projects want to use. So instead of this confusing toggle, now you can control these individually. So that should be a bit easier to understand. We also have the Smarty Pants and GFM flags. Those are basically control over those two plugins, and they will not be overridden if you add your own plugins, which is a big quality of life improvement. Another internal change, but Remark and Rehype plugins have gotten a bit more powerful. So they can actually access the user front matter now. So if you have any data in your file, these plugins will get the full access to that. So plugin authors can modify existing front matter or compute new properties based on that front matter. So that is really exciting stuff. The biggest change in V2 is the new Prerender API error overlays that were flagged previously are now on by default. So the error overlay looks amazing. We have a great design here and great implementation that should make things a lot more straightforward when you do run into an error, surface a lot more information to you. So we've really overhauled our error handling. It's a pretty exciting update. So this is the default now in V2. We also have the pre-render feature. So this is now enabled by default. If you are using the server output format, you can pre-render individual pages by adding this statement, export const pre-render equals true. And that page will be rendered to static HTML and not included in your server bundle. So that's a really great option for performance or SEO reasons. It's a really handy feature in V2. We also have great docs on this, of course, but there's not much to document, honestly. It's just a Boolean, so you can find this in the docs if you're curious. There have been a bunch of commits as well in the Astro repo, so we have been really busy. That is, 58 out of 74 PRs, so 3/4 of our PRs. Tons of open issues closed, 19 contributors, 219 commits. So Chris has been super busy with a lot of those changes as well. So that's really exciting to see. I think we have some new examples coming from Chris as well. There is one epic contribution from the community that made it into the beta release. So Wulin Shang has been super helpful with a bunch of PRs here. And they added a PR to make sure everything has a flat structure in our output. So that's one of the major changes as well. Assets will be much more flat instead of nested in a bunch of different directories. So this should simplify your caching with your providers, since you'll have one place to configure that instead of multiple folders. I don't know if Fuzzy is here. Oh,
Waka waka.
He is. Do you want to chat about the support squad?
Yes, this week's a bit of a surprise actually. The support squad was amazing, like all around the board. The past week, just the support that's been offered to the new people that's coming into the community, which is quite a lot, has been epic. So I couldn't just pick out 3. So working in sets of primes, I picked out 5. Going left to right, we got Ansi Dev, who was just been fantastic in the help that he's been contributing towards people in support squad. Tom Everson, like the last couple of weeks since he's been back in the server, has been fantastic. Otterlord has been taken to support squad like a otter to water, and then we've got Mr. Nice Guy with Bryce Guy and the happiest developer in the community as well there. So thank you, and a big shout out to Use5 as well, and everybody else who's managed to contribute and take the time out to help folk this past week. Thank you.
Amazing.
You've all been fantastically awesome.
Yeah, that's a whole bunch of people. I've definitely noticed so much activity and support. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Cool. I think we've got some docs updates as well from Sarah.
We do. That means I have to stop typing. Okay. What do we got going on? And fair warning, Nate, I can't see your screen, but I have the Canva here. So I'm just going to talk and you're going to keep up with me.
I will catch up. That's great.
Yeah. So we'll do this. Okay. I am looking at all my commits to the docs for the week of January 3rd to January 10th. It has been a busy week in docs. So Dev's been doing a ton of stuff and we've just been trying to keep up. And that does mean lots of little PRs, lots of commits, and even quite a few drafts going on. So I am now looking at my draft 2330. This is the exciting one. This we did yesterday. We are getting the docs infrastructure set up for our upgrade guide from version 1 to version 2. Takes a lot more moving pieces than you might think. We're in like Netlify tunnel doing our redirects. We're deleting some old pages. We're moving stuff around. So if you're curious, if you want a sneak peek, you're always welcome. Everyone's welcome in the docs repo, checking up on us, looking at our draft PRs. This is the big one that we're trying to get ready to support people for the official launch. So obviously, not everything is docked yet. There's a lot of you out there trying a lot of these new experimental features, some stuff that's still hidden behind flags that won't be very soon. But we're trying to catch up. We're getting there. Use the change logs for now as you need to see what's breaking, what's different, but it's all going to come together in the end. Now, what else am I looking at? Preview of the upgrade guide. Yeah, you can check in on that. Chris did something fun last week. So we've been tweaking our Algolia search results. What started to happen was because of some categorization behind the scenes, you could search for something, and then we discovered at one point that error messages, because now handily, this is amazing, Eric has done great work on this, every single error message that we're tracking has its own docs page. Now, what does that mean for Algolia search? That means error messages are bubbling to the top when you're just searching for how to do something. So Chris has done a bunch of work behind the scenes so we can recategorize, so we can get you the best search results coming to the top, so that they're categorized, so that if you're looking specifically, if you're searching for something you got in an error message, there will be a category for that now, as opposed to just you being, hit in the face with error messages when you go searching for just how to do regular stuff. So that's been really exciting. This is coupled with, we have a pinned issue in the docs repo. We've got a slide for it here with a bunch of different search terms, and community members have been really helpful. And as people get a chance, what we do is we search this term and we see what search hits we do get, and we evaluate whether they're helpful. And you can see on this slide here that, we have a checklist. So the ones that are done are checked off. There's lots of fun search terms. If you just want like a fun, casual way to contribute to the docs, you can go to the docs repos issues. It's pinned up at the top, the Algolia search statistics research thing, and you can just pick a search term that hasn't been searched yet. And we give you a few questions so you can tell us, what did you find? Were the results helpful? And we're constantly reworking the docs based on the feedback we get here, and how we can make sure that the most helpful things are surfacing, whether that's through rewriting content, whether that's through adjusting our headings, because headings get higher, search results. So at any rate, there's lots of fun stuff going on in docs right now. And as busy as we are, I can't believe that we are not the busiest people in docs. The busiest people in docs are our translators. We've got now Chris's nice fancy status for all the languages, how translated they are, which pages need updating. I mean, these people don't stop. And it's just amazing. We love and we value our translators so much who, as much as we are making these tiny little changes all the time, then they're coming in and they're just getting them up in our other languages. So it is wild times in docs right now, and we are always happy to have new people jump in either to the docs channel in Discord, to PRs and issues in GitHub, and we will work with you. And there's no shortage of stuff for us to do. So come play in docs with us. And I am out of doc slides, so I will pass it back to Nate.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Always love seeing all the exciting work y'all are doing. Cool. Yeah, we have a bit of RFC business to chat about as well, so I'm going to hop over to that. Give me just a second. Amazing. So, as you can see, we should have the Discord chat visible here in the recording. And if other people are jumping in, we can also see who's talking. So that should be pretty nice. So yeah, feel free to chat, and thankfully everyone can see that in the recording now. As for RFC business, we have a few outstanding RFCs still. We are going to be looking at this process overall, and we're definitely looking into ways moving forward post V2 to surface a lot of these discussions better. We're thinking about enabling like issues on the repository so that we can track things and have an actual board. So there's some exciting changes coming for that right now. So hopefully a lot more of that community excitement about new features will actually be translated into a bit of a roadmap. So keep an eye out for that. Nothing final yet, but just a heads up that that's coming. As for V2, we have an experimental feature that has an RFC that we would love to be stable in V2. It's in the betas, but we haven't actually accepted this RFC yet. So just to chat about it one more time, if you haven't used the pre-render feature, this is a bit of a new feature on top of our server output. So essentially the pre-render API controls your output on a page-by-page basis. So you can basically just add export const prerender equals true. And we've chatted about this quite a bit, and this RFC has gone through a number of changes through that process. So really appreciate the iterative design with the community, and I feel like we've landed on something really great here. So I would love to chat about getting this officially accepted and merged. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Seems ready to me.
Excellent.
I've not came across any issues with people using it at all, so I'm pretty satisfied with it.
Nice. That's amazing. Cool. I will take the quiet and lack of objection as a motion that this should move forward. Yeah, please let us know how your experience with this API is. What's up, Matthew?
Should we just do the very formal? Don't we have like a?
Yeah.
We have like a formal thing that we say.
Yes, absolutely.
Are there any objections? I guess.
Formally, are there any objections? Otherwise, we will consider this RFC accepted. So I'll just give people a moment. If you object, let us know. Amazing. Cool. The RFC is accepted. This is behind an experimental flag in Astro 1.7 and up, and it is not behind a flag in Astro 2.0. So very exciting. Docs improvements are definitely coming. We want to write a guide on when to choose this option, but we do have some reference on how it works right now. So that I think is it on the RFC side. Also wanted to chat a bit about what's going on in Astro 2.0. So we have a whole bunch of cleanup PRs, but just to look at the stuff that's been merged, one big thing that we didn't chat about was we're bumping our minimum supported node version from 14 to 16. Node 14 reaches end of life in a few months, and it also lets us clean up the code base significantly. So we're jumping the gun a little bit, but every provider is mostly switched over to 16 or even 18 by default. So this should be pretty minimal disruption. We also have just some internal refactors, cleaning things up. Bjorn, Matthew, Ben have been doing an amazing job with that. A lot of our error handling stuff and the Node 14 stuff Eric has been handling, which has been amazing. So yeah, the other notable thing is this _Astro directory. So previously your assets would go in a directory called assets. I mentioned this. So now it's a flat structure. It has also been renamed to _Astro. So yeah, you can configure this in your Astro config if you need a different name, but the reason we're doing this is because we can kind of work with hosts like Vercel and Netlify and get all of the caching defaults set up so that everything just works as you would expect. So everything in here is generated by Astro. It's JavaScript, CSS that's hashed and is immutable. So that's the idea behind this directory. The other thing we haven't talked about at all is content collections. So that is super exciting. Ben's been working really hard on that. The plan is for that to be unflagged in Astro 2.0. Right now it's behind a flag. And there are just some final touches going on there. Is Ben here? Do you want to chat about any of the changes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
All right. I was switching over to my good mic here. Actually, I'm not. Now I'm switched. Okay.
There you go. Sounds delightful.
This experimental feature we have standing, since the other two were baselined. And this just has one final little breaking change of allowing all sorts of schemas. Before this, we required that you do like a little object in order to define your schema. And now we've opened it up to a number of Zod types. So you can use z.object now to declare your regular schema if you just have, a simple object of all the front matter that you expect. But now you can do some other fancy stuff if you're into it. Like you can add a .transform function to the end of the object to like change the values. And also what you're highlighting there of if you have a front matter schema that can vary depending on a type, like, hey, I have a type post in my front matter, and that is a title and description. But I also have newsletters in this collection that have some different front matter, like a subject. Now you can switch on that using a union type. You can also use discriminated union if you want to be fancy and make Zod compile faster, but they're generally the same thing. You can allow multiple schemas for the same collection and switch depending on type properties and other stuff, which works the same way as like a pipe in TypeScript, if that's what you're used to. So that should be a really nice change, I think. It didn't take that much effort to get going. We have a helpful error message to help you migrate over. You just have to add the z.object wrapper around everything, and you should be good to go. I have not merged the docs change because we have not done a CI release. I was trying to be careful with that. But you just add z.object to it, and you should be good to go. Docs be updated once that is live. But yeah.
That feature is one of the things I'm most excited about in Astro 2.0. I've heard really great feedback from people, and I'm just really excited to start using it personally. So amazing work on all that, Ben.
Yeah, thanks. We should be baselining that flag as soon as this week. So get ready to use content for more things.
Great. I notice we are very nicely at the half-hour mark. So I think I'm gonna call it there. I will definitely be hanging out here, and we do this every single week. So if you're interested, come join our Discord community, astro.build/chat, and join us next week for this call. But hopefully everybody loved the new format, and we're gonna keep making these calls even better. So thanks for joining.